Hi, for Real Time with IPC, this is Dan Bollier, and today we've got a little panel discussion here going on marketing in today's PCB climate. To my left is Junie Warner, who is a marketing guru at Transline, right here in Anaheim. And then Yash Satateri has a...
Soteria.
Soteria.
Hard,
yeah, well, I'm kind of stupid, and you are at Saturn Flex in the Michigan area?
Alpharetta, Georgia, actually.
Okay, that's a long ways from Michigan. Where
Well, the other shop's in Detroit.
Okay, there we go. And Stuart Hyatt from Mutrax, right?
Mutrax, yeah.
Okay, great. These are all, I was told, the top marketing people in the industry. So we're going to put them on the spot today and just see what their opinions are. Just to start out, my opinion is we need a lot more marketing. I've written 350 columns about this. It's my life. I'm an apostle about it, so I wanted to meet with other people and see if they were as nuts and passionate about it as I am. So, Judy, can you just start off by telling us about what you do and what you think works, just a little bit of the basic stuff you do marketing at Transline?
Sure. Well, I've been in the industry for about 20 years, but the last 3, while I've been at Transline, I've been heavily focused on marketing. And I had a little break in there where I left the industry, and so when I came back, it was like starting all over. So, you know, a lot of my contacts and that, I had to start over. So I had to find fresh and creative ways to get connected quickly. Like you said, not knocking one door at a time to, you know, no one knew who Transline was. So I started engaging heavily in investing huge time with LinkedIn and using social media, and then doing face-to-face events like this event, the trade shows and that kind of thing. But LinkedIn has been huge. I have over 1,200 connections now, and they're all engineers. So I'm talking to my target market every day. So that's been a good thing for me.
Okay, well, that's good. We got a social media person. We'll get back to that. Yash, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, we used to do the trade show thing like 10, 12 a year. I cut that down to 3, basically this one, and then the National Minority Show, and then when Mexatronica was around, we were doing that, and that seemed to fit the bill. Just go for the big ones and do them hard. Social media, I don't know, I could never get into it. I just don't have the gift of gab, but our focus, a lot of it.
We don't call it gab, but you've got
it's like
that.
online BS, right? No. But, you know, the marketing that came most natural to us was, you know, basically technical marketing. You know, whether and really it's defining who the hell you want to sell to.
You guys do the permission marketing newsletters, the technical.
We'll do some of the newsletters. A lot of, you know, last year we had a lot of articles between PCB Magazine and SMT Magazine. But that was more, you know, just kind of almost not showing off, but just speaking to the market. Here's what we think is important. Not I wasn't selling Saturn. That's just a byproduct. We were just issuing the technical knowledge to the industry. But really, a lot of the focus was SEO. Creating an actual useful website as opposed to how many websites do you go to where it's a story of how they started. Who cares?
It's about them.
Who cares? You know, let's make it about the customer. Here's a bunch of stuff. What do you want, right? Make it easy. And so it's worked for us. Not to say that's going to work for everybody.
No, it's two different but related perspectives. How about you, Stuart?
My, as this guy knows, my background's actually capital equipment, so it's a different. It is a different ball game.
Getting people drunk and then getting signed contracts.
Well, I used to work with you. It worked fantastically well.
Remember that time I wired 300 grand to you and then you went out of business?
But the money was good.
Okay. We're losing control here. Go ahead, Stuart.
No, nice. The whole notion of selling capital equipment is obviously different. Completely different. I'm with you actually. I'm not sure about the social media stuff for what we want to do. There's actually there's a limited number of people that you've got to talk to, and actually people want something that's different. If you're selling a Me Too product, it's really tough. And actually then trade shows become important, and I can talk to you all day about trade shows and what I think about this trade show. But also, I'm also with you, just the notion of getting publications out there that are more general rather than specific to the company. It's just about profile and getting brand recognition. I'm in the unusual position right now that we bring in a brand new product and new technology to market with no brand recognition whatsoever. So actually all the work that we've been doing is along those lines.
Yeah, but you have to also consider your own brand. Yeah, I was just kidding you about the other stuff, but Stuart's actually very knowledgeable about what we do. Which is different from how a lot of other people try to sell. Again, it was talking about, oh, look at my machine, my machine. His, at least in my opinion, his goal was relating what it is the capital equipment does to what I do and how it's going to make my life
What the
easier.
capital equipment can do for you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
but
I think that's
what
important.
marketing's about. And marketing's about actually fitting the product to the customer need. And if you're not going to take the time to listen to the customer need, then why bother?
But
you
I think-
you can shout about it forever. If it doesn't fit, then what's the point?
Right.
Right.
Part of it, I mean, the old definition I got years ago is marketing and sales. Sales, you're fishing with a fishing pole and a lure and trying to catch a fish, where marketing, you're getting the fish to jump in the boat. And that's really what it is. You're trying to get the customer to want to work with you.
The sale is a lot easier to make when they're calling you.
Absolutely.
And I want to clarify on the social media side is I don't just go out there and say, oh, I had a hot dog for lunch, how are you?
Yes.
I write blogs,
Yes.
I'm putting out technical data, so I write blogs for Microwave Journal.
You're not talking about the dreams you had.
No.
No, not only that,
So I
to
wanted to
back her up.
clarify
Yeah.
because that has no place, obviously, in our market. So I am putting out some stuff with substance there. It's the delivery vehicles that I use, they've been effective for
Right.
me. And I was just telling Dan earlier today that I write business straight out of LinkedIn. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
I do.
she does.
I mean, people call me up and I get orders straight out of LinkedIn. But that didn't happen overnight. It happened because I put a lot of good content out there. I let people know that we know what we're talking about. We can provide, we're experts in a certain niche and area. And then over time, it builds this
Yeah.
trust. So
You-
when they are ready to go, they think of
And
me
it's a
first.
You
Great.
guys,
So-
with your valuable content, need to be doing what she's doing.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
tie-in.
there.
I think we're all doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
It wasn't to talk down to social media at all.
No,
but
no.
It's like the internet has changed the entire dynamic of how
Absolutely.
we as an industry can market.
Absolutely.
The problem is, and we talked about it in the previous panel, I'm the youngest person in the industry, it seems like, and I'm pushing 40. So adopting these new methodologies and
Absolutely.
technologies has been very slow in our industry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
the most you could see is people that took a print ad and just put it on a website. Big
Absolutely,
deal,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's doing something more
Yeah.
dynamic and something more
But the
involved
thing
that
is, I mean,
shows you
if
the
you look,
value.
if you look at marketing, I read a lot of Seth Godin, who I think is a brilliant marketeer, and he years ago came up with the concept of the tribe. He came up with permission marketing, which is what you do, and the tribe, and we build tribes. That's what she's doing. You build tribes. For example, my wife is a quilter. So anything that comes over the internet that's about quilting, she's going to open. Anything that comes over the internet, if you're a golfer, you're going to open. So you're creating tribes. And it came about years ago when Dell decided they were going to write a curriculum for homeschoolers, because no one had done it. And so out of that came a tribe of homeschooling families who, guess what, bought Dell computers and watched everything about 12. You do it with what you're doing. Now, you're putting it out here, nothing wrong with 007 and wherever you write, but she's taking it and she's going right at them and
right to the
building a
customer base,
tribe.
right.
Because what you started to say about, I didn't say where I ate lunch, is exactly right. I see two things. I see that 19-year-olds are brilliant at delivering the message. They have no message to deliver.
That's true.
We have to give them a message to deliver. Say, okay, you know how to do all this stuff.
Right.
Twitter, all that. Go do it, but we're going to feed you the messages that we want. So.
Right. And I agree with what you two are talking about. And so I am agreeing with you that's the most effective way to market. And what I'm saying, in addition to that disseminating that sort of following or building of a tribe, the social media is a great tool to do that, but you need to know how to do it effectively and right, and you have to be a giver.
Well, the bottom line is you just got to at least do something. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
but-
lot of people
but-
that don't do anything
Right.
whatsoever.
And you know what, there's
but
a
you do
lot
need
of
something different to write about every day as well. I mean, I remember back in the day before Twitter, before the internet, and companies did quarterly newsletters, and it was great for the first year, and then you actually run out of things to write about. So it's important. Again, I think it depends on the setting. I could not humanly write a blog or a Twitter feed about what we're doing in Mutex every day today, because there's not enough to write about. And
If there was, I'd just start getting pissed off if I had to do it every day and come out more
But
and more bitter.
it's not
Not every
you
day.
doing
Right.
it. It's not you doing it. You have
Yeah, and
people
you can,
who do
you
it.
can sub that out.
well, not necessarily, because we're in a startup. So I actually am the sales and marketing
Okay.
department. So if we were going to do it, it would be me.
See, and part of that, and you're right, and I hear that all the time, Stuart, but it's like, that's too bad. You got to figure it out. We have to figure it out.
I
you know?
don't want to be. I was at the IMS show, and this company that I knew about had written a nice blog, and I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh, we paid some guy like $50 a technical writer on Guru.com." You know, there's so many sites out there now where you can offload it as long as they're skilled in a technical area. So, and not to say that blogs are the null. It may not be for you, and it may not match your culture. Or
I don't think
that's
I don't
important.
think it's cultural. I think that's
What's the fit, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It has to
that's
be a
exactly
fit.
that's exactly the point. You know, as much as some products fit some customers, some ways of marketing fit some organizations.
Absolutely.
Right.
And,
And
you know, and
the
when
place they are in their timeline.
exactly. And we're launching a $1 million piece of equipment. It's quite a technical sell. It's a comprehensive sell. And to do that by social media, we'll actually be doing the products and the development of this service. This is a sit
Right.
down, understand the process, real long technical sale, samples, let's do some processing, let's see how it fits. And it needs that real technical interaction. Now, let's take this forward a few years and we're established as a business and we've got ongoing sales, then it comes in and it takes on a whole new dimension. I can see how we would then automate and use things like that for support, technical documentation, but at the time in our evolution,
Yes.
there's just nothing to talk about.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Plus,
That-
it's a $1
that-
million piece of equipment. It's not going to have like 20,000 customers, right?
But you know, somebody said once, like, and you know, whatever idea I have and I speak, everybody comes up and says that won't fit in my business. That won't fit in my well. Now, switch that around. Let's do a little something with what you're talking about. If I were working with you, this is a critical time that I would be talking about. I would even do a little leaking information and the development of the product.
Yep.
I would do a little bit of this person bought it because you're looking for mojo. You're looking for
that's
momentum.
kind of what he's
but we've
doing
been
by
doing that.
being here too, right?
But we've been doing that for several years now, and we've written several technical articles, and those articles have actually generated significant global interest.
Yes.
And they were a generic. I mean, some of the articles were just about imaging in general, not even about the product. It was about the
Right.
whole imaging
Exactly.
portfolio, where we fit in, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and actually, I think that gives credence not only to the product, but our understanding of where it fits. Because again, it's not a catch-all. This is not something that everybody will use in every shop in the world, but the ones that will use it and where it fits, they'll just rip my arms off because it will be so revolutionary.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's what you said, it's about taking the time to understand what the customer or potential customer wants, you know, and also ultimately respecting their decision. But I mean, what's going to be important for us next year when the machine's there is trade shows. I mean, trade shows is a whole new dimension. We're sat upstairs, downstairs, there are thousands of people. There's been
And how do
millions.
you get people to your booth? All of that
Yeah, well,
runs into
you
the
know,
social media side.
right.
Well, yeah, it does, but you know, but it's more than social media. I mean, let's take.
Well, not one thing it precludes another. It's a
No.
mosaic. Marketing is a mosaic of everything that works.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
but the
Or a
trade.
quilt.
Whatever. Whatever. If you want to make my Debbie happy, we'll say that. We'll leave it in.
No, but I think I think that we should not overlook the cost and expense that's gone on downstairs. There is enormous cost downstairs. There are massive pieces of equipment, each have cost thousands of dollars to be there. There's thousands of dollars of support, installation. I mean, to run.
But what do you mean by that? So does that
Well,
mean
well-
we should keep doing it? I don't. because it costs a lot.
I think I think it will only keep happening. I mean, I used to spend a lot of money. He will tell you a lot of money on trade shows. Really,
They were kind of the best displays out there.
yeah, we spent a lot of money on trade shows. We supported every trade show on the planet for PCB, and we spent a lot of money taking a lot of expensive equipment around the world. And it got to the stage where you look at the return on it, and it was questionable. And then you find yourself with a dichotomy: do I go? Don't I go? If I don't go, how will the market reflect it?
From a customer standpoint, it was very critical. When you're buying a $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 piece of equipment to see it, touch it, feel it,
that's why we that's why we did it.
Right.
But then you have all kinds of considerations, and this is why I think the whole marketing mix is such a big picture. Take next year. My one reservation about bringing a $1 million piece of equipment to the States next year is the shows in Vegas, because that trade show competes with the city.
But
it's just a nightmare.
I completely agree. Switch it around, and Judy, I'd like you to join in, but with YouTube, with everything going on, webinars, YouTube, all of that, why do you have to bring it? Why can't you bring the people to your machine?
Well, actually we can.
Or the machine to the people.
Well, actually we can, and actually we have been. But I call me old-fashioned, but I believe that we're all pulling out quite a nice living out of an industry, and we can't do everything virtually. There is a place, there's a real place, I believe, in the world market to bring experts together at forums like this to exchange opinions, be it on marketing, be it on technical.
I completely agree, and that's another story.
And I agree with you too that for us, we're very specific about the trade shows and very strategic. We don't do one a month.
Right.
We do 3 or 4 a year, period, and it's very strategic. So the trade shows are still important. However, what you're saying, I guess what I'm wondering about what you're saying is, you're here as part of a marketing thing, so what does work for you?
Well, I mean, some trade shows are better than others. And I've got lots of experiences of trade shows around the world, and I love coming to the States, I love IPC, but if I'm frank about it, it's not the most exhibitor friendly if you want to sell capital equipment. Compared to Productronica, I take Productronica, I mean, there are parts of Productronica that I like, and the parts that I don't like. The 4-day notion of a show, I don't know.
Stop right there. I think the IPC hit squad's around the corner.
But you know, this is about, if we're going to talk about it, then we should talk frankly, you know, and you're 40-ish and I'm 50-ish, and we're still learning, and I think the whole industry's got a responsibility to try and keep learning.
I think the bottom line of marketing is, you know, having this big break kind of gave me a unique perspective, because time had passed and I needed to speed up and catch up. And when I first left the industry, the printed circuit board business was just starting to flow offshore into Asia. It was just starting to get real hard. I was making a great living. It was just starting to get hard. My husband's business took off, and I had little kids, and I chose to go and raise 2 daughters for a while. When I came back, I had to take all my old assumptions away because they no longer applied. What you're saying is, I'm new, I'm fresh. Why isn't anyone getting out of the past and trying new progressive things? We have new tools or new things available to us.
You're right, Jude.
And this industry specifically seems so hesitant to engage with new tools and so quick to say social media doesn't work for me, doesn't work for this industry. And I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm saying people who I talk to in the industry at large say, that won't work, that doesn't work, I don't know, it's just word of mouth, I just need to put more salespeople, or they keep, you know, doing the same things over again, hoping for different
those
results.
are the same people that ask, oh, well, how'd you grow 10% when the industry was down 5%?
But
right?
you know,
I mean,
Yash,
they're not the brightest bulbs in the.
That's the majority. There's a reason they're not at this table and you are.
Right, exactly.
You know, there's a reason you're at this table.
That actually is true. But I also think as well, I mean, one thing that I do think is invaluable on a daily basis, for example, the electronic newsletters that come out. I do think that is interesting. I guess all of you guys look at that when it comes out, as I do, to find out what's going on in the press. And I think that becomes actually quite an interesting vehicle for advertising too, because it's fresh news, and because it's kind of a global perspective rather than something that's just what I'm saying. It is what's going on in the industry today. I mean, certainly when Mutrax does advertise.
It's like niche marketing, basically.
Yeah, but when we do advertise, that's where we'll advertise, because I know there are going to be thousands of people every day looking on the daily newsletters to find out what the hell's going on, because I'll be doing it too. So if we're going to do any advertising, that's where we'll do it.
Right.
But, you know, again, we do the social media stuff, we'll do that marketing, but if you're selling big pieces of equipment, you do need good trade shows too. And it's the whole shebang that's got to be right.
Right.
Okay, on that note, we better, can I ask you to do 10 seconds each? We don't have a lot of time, but if you could just 10 seconds on just a wrap up of what you think marketing, and then you, just your philosophy, just to tie this all together.
Well, I agree that we're all still learning, and we always need to be evolving, because the market's always evolving. And if we're not evolving, we're going backwards. So I think the best kind of marketing, sort of like you said, is saying, what kind of problems do my customers or my potential customers have, and how do I solve them? And then how do I deliver those solutions in a way that lets them know that I'm the go-to person to help solve that problem.
Okay.
You know,
Thank
my philosophy is a little bit more simple. Maybe it's just the laziness.
It's what works.
I just market your strength. We market what you're good at, and the people that need it will come to you. It's pretty simple.
Very good.
So if you don't have a lot of things you're good at, build a list and get better.
Thanks, Yash. Stuart.
I think mine is, and he'll tell you this, is just don't be afraid to ask stupid questions of your customers, because if you do that, you will find out what they need, and if you've got the right product, sell it, and if you haven't, shake their hands and walk on. Don't sell them a pup. Don't sell them something that you know doesn't fit.
Right, because you're the trust.
Very
Definitely.
good.
It's about the next order, isn't it?
Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your candor. I think we could have gone on. We could turn this into a mini-series, I think, and show up once a week, but we're not going to do that.
I don't think it'd be very popular.
I think it would be fun. You've seen Shark Tank.
Us four would watch it.
Yeah, we'd have fun anyway. So there you have it from three marketing experts and myself. This is Dan Bollier for IPC Real Time. Thanks for watching.